Spending most of my life in Korea until I was 12 years old, I started my journey studying abroad to Dublin, New Hampshire, where I thought I was the smallest private school that exists in the nation. There were only about 8 people in each class, and all of the people at the school were white. I was an outcast racially and socially due to the color of my skin and lack of my English skill. Having acquainted with the Asian for the first time, my classmates bullied me verbally and physically. Living apart from my family at such a young age, I was unable to handle the level of stress of both being an outcast as well as going through racism. I therefore decided to halt the opportunity studying abroad in America due to severe trauma I had in New Hampshire. Although I have grown up in a traditional Korean household, I was not able to understand Korean ironically. This was mainly because I started studying abroad at a such young age, surrounded by a fully English environment where I did not speak Korean at all. In fact, I was not able to understand Korean textbooks when I entered Korean middle school from the very first day. Because I did not have any option to transfer at the moment, I had to finish the first year of middle school, and I did regardless of how successful it was. My parents and I discussed intensively about my future plan for where to study. Although my parents really wanted me to go back to America for the education, I had too big of a trauma at that moment, so we have come to the conclusion to go to English speaking country where it is relatively close to Korea, the Philippines. At first glance, the Philippines sounded very nice as it was not only close to my motherland, but also an English speaking country. However, the educational experience in the Philippines was not at the level of my expectation due to such different curriculum they have compared to American and Korean. While enjoying the cultural and sociable aspect of Philippines and getting acquainted with diverse populations in the Philippines, I have met so many precious friends and people that I was able to share my burdens and the secret. When I shared my experience at Dublin, all of the people said to go back to America if that trauma is the only factor that is holding me back. They said there are so many diverse people and such experiences cannot generalize America as a whole, and there are certainly more kind and educated people in America than I thought. It was the moment I decided to go back to America for the education purposes and overcome the trauma that I experienced in the past. I went to a fairly bigger Christian school compared to Dublin one, Bob Jones Academy, where it is located at Greenville, South Carolina. Although it was not different from Dublin one in terms of how white people were the majority of the student body, the people were much nicer and more thoughtful. For example, many people initially approached me asking me questions and trying their best for me to feel comfortable at the new environment and culture. Due to this friendly environment, I was so happy that I just misunderstood about American culture in general and was so ready to live here at least until the graduation of high school. However, due to the shortage of help and budget of the school had, all of the dormitory students had lost their home. Although I had a choice to find a place to homestay, my parents asked me if I wanted to experience in a broader environment transferring to a new school. Although it was a hard decision to make, I thought it was a great opportunity to travel and experience at a broader scope seeing the world. I ended up going to St. Clair Lutheran High School located in West St. Paul, Minnesota. There were about 25% of international students with a fairly distributed population of race of the students at the school. I really appreciated this aspect and I was able to meet a lot of students with different backgrounds and cultures. To be specific, not only I was able to share the Korean culture to the students, but also I was able to listen and learn about different culture and the countries around the world from our different continents and numerous countries. With such diverse experience I had back in high school, I really wanted to attend University of Minnesota Twin Cities campus specifically for its large size of student body with the highly diverse culture the school possessed. When it comes to the process of decision making in major at college, I was so lost. I knew I wanted to go into the health profession path for my future career, but did not know which major to choose. I initially chose biology as my major since that is the most broad major I can learn about the life science. Throughout the years in college, I have learned that the major of biology did not have specific information in one specific area, but life science in general as a whole. I wanted to major that was focused on one specific area. Because I have been interested in psychological studies and biology, I ended up changing my major to neuroscience. Majoring in neuroscience, I was able to intensively learn about the clinical settings of life science and how our body functions with the master controller, the brain. These aspects really intrigued me to learn about the nervous systems and pain in general, and I wanted to focus more on the facial nervous systems as that was the one of the most interesting area of study I wanted to study more throughout the college life. That being said, I have set my goal to become a dentist as there are so many nervous systems involved, as well as it was the health profession that requires a lot of dexterous activity. As a person who enjoys working with my hands a lot, I thought the dental field was the best fit, and I ended up setting my goal to become a dentist. Thankfully, I had gotten acceptance to Boston University Henry M. Goldman School of Dental Medicine at the first attempt, and I'm planning to matriculate as a class of 2025. I vision myself to become a general dentist who works for the community where there are many underrepresented populations. It is no secret that being a dentist is already a lucrative career, and I do not want to prioritize wealth when it comes to practicing as a dentist. I would like to be a help and want to educate young children on the importance of dental hygiene and let them know dental clinics are not just simply scary places to visit. I would like to be an advocate specifically for children that dental clinic is as important as checking up their body regularly, and therefore want to become a pediatric dentist if the opportunities are given in the future. Throughout the years in college, I have been volunteering at a number of service learning sites, and I have learned that the joy of giving back and acknowledge the importance of appreciating the service I received. There are many things that go unnoticeably that sometimes people do not know. It is a privilege that some people may not be able to experience as much as the other population. I would like to keep the mindset of giving back by serving as a dentist at the community for the underrepresented population in the future.